Hey everyone, welcome back to AFC Game by Game. Apologies that you're having to see me in my dressing gown. I got caught in the rain on the way home from the Emirates. As you can see, my shoes are just there, drying off on the radiator, as well as my coat alongside it there. But it was worth it. Completely worth getting absolutely soaked, and I'll probably end up getting a cold from this, but completely worth it to see Arsenal beat Manchester United 2-0 this evening at the Emirates Stadium. It's a brilliant result. It really is fantastic in the grand scheme of things. This entire week I've been so nervous building up to this game, and to get 4 points from Spurs and United, I'm really happy with that. It should be 6. We should have beaten Spurs last week, given that they've lost this weekend away from home at Southampton, given that Chelsea have dropped points at home to Wolves. It's been a perfect weekend for us. It couldn't have gone any better, and we're in a great position now to not just finish 4th but finish 3rd as well. I'm looking at the teams around us and the games they've got to play. Effectively, they've got to play each other a couple of times, so we're in with a very good chance of getting a top 3 finish this season. Spurs have got to still play a lot of big teams. Well, I say a lot. I mean, there's not many games in the rest of the season left, but we're looking at sides like Man United having to play the likes of City. Chelsea have got a few big games coming up. I think Spurs have still got to go to Liverpool and City away, so it's going to be a very exciting end to the season. And we've got probably the easiest run-in, I would say, but it's not going to be easy. I certainly think some of the games we've got coming up: Burnley away from home at the end of the season, Leicester away, Watford away. These are all potential banana skins, and I don't want to say that they are. If we play in the way that we did today, we should be winning those games. But Leicester, under Rodgers, are a different kettle of fish now. They're looking like they could be a real threat. Burnley, we know that they're very tough to break down, especially at Turf Moor. Watford was horrible there last season. It's going to be tough to go there. They've got a very good squad: Decore, Deeney, Gray. They're going to be tough to break down. So I'm not feeling, overly confident just yet. We've still got to go to Wolves as well, who have been fantastic this season. Certainly the best sides have been promoted, so it definitely won't be easy, and given our pretty dire away form, it's going to be even more difficult for us than any other sides, I think, when it comes to that respect. But I think that we've got all the capabilities to do it. I think we've got all the ammunition. It's just a case of having the confidence and the belief, the mentality to go to those places and get a result. We've beaten a very good side today, and I do think we've had a bit of luck. There's no denying that. They played a side that have just had a great win against PSG in the Champions League. They've won 8 in the league, I believe, away from home. Something like that, and we've just completely nullified them. We've stopped them scoring. We've scored 2 great goals ourselves, albeit one was a penalty, but we should have had a few more goals in this game. United will feel a little bit aggrieved. As I say, they had chances. They hit the bar through Lukaku, they hit the post through Fred, and it was a game where I was really biting my nails, and I really was nervous throughout large spells of this game, because I do feel like United are a side that possess a lot of danger men going forward. Lukaku, on another day, would have had a hat-trick. He had lots of chances. Rashford, I thought we were kind of fortunate that he had a bit of an off day. And, no Martial starting in this game, which was a blessing. No Jesse Lingard, players that notoriously like to play us. So we were fortunate in that regard. But let's not forget, United have injuries, so do we. No Rob Holding, no Bellerin. Mkhitaryan wasn't in the squad today. So, I mean, I think we were fairly even in terms of injuries. United would probably argue differently, but we're missing a lot of players that are so key to how we want to play, and players that make us tick, especially someone like Hector Bellerin, who I think we've really missed since his absence. But yeah, I mean, to be performing so well with the injuries we've got, I do feel really good about things, and the performance today, as I say, I think we've had a bit of luck, but the result is what matters in the end, and the fact we've kept a clean sheet. I do think Bernd Leno is responsible for that mainly. He was fantastic once again today. That moment when he ran out, took the ball off Lukaku, and then played an excellent ball through to Aaron Ramsey, just sweep a keeper. And I love it. I absolutely love this guy. I think we've got another 10 years of him, hopefully. And yeah, definitely one for the future, and seems to be improving as each game goes by. But I think Emery got it spot on today. We seem to target what's weakest for Manchester United at the moment, and that is their defence. Attacking, we know how good they are going forward. Lukaku has been coming into a bit of form under Solskjaer. Lingard's been fantastic, albeit he was absent today. Rashford has been phenomenal in the past couple of months. So it was always going to be tough trying to stop them in the front, but we've done that. And the back three system, I know a lot of people aren't a fan of it, but it worked brilliantly today, because Shelny, Socrates and Monreal were all as brilliant as each other at the back, especially Monreal trying to keep Lukaku quiet. And then the wing-backs in Kolasinac and Ainsley Maitland-Niles were brilliant. Maitland-Niles especially, I think it's worth talking about him in particular, because I think at the start of the game, for the first half really, I was thinking, do we really want to look at this guy as a long-term option at right wing back? we really need to invest in this area in the summer, and you know, I still think we do to an extent. But he was brilliant today, especially in that second half. I'm still so open-minded about where his future lies. Is he a wing-back? Is he a full-back? Is he a central midfielder? Is he a winger? I have no idea, but what I quite like about him playing at wing-back is he's allowed to get forward. He doesn't have to be overly defensive, but it kind of combines that position of winger and full-back, and I think that works for him quite nicely. And also he drifts into the middle quite a lot as well. But some of his tackles were phenomenal. His passing was great. His distribution, his confidence as he grew into the game. His best performance for me in an Arsenal shirt, without doubt. The midfield too of Ramsey and Xhaka complemented each other brilliantly. Ramsey put some brilliant tackles in, as did Granit Xhaka. His performance all round so dominant from Granit. His goal as well, fantastic. But I'll get on to that in a second. Just completely nullified the likes of Paul Pogba, who was so rattled in this game. We completely got under his skin and we frustrated this United team, which is what I like most about this game. Surprise inclusion from, you know, our most valuable asset at the minute, Mesut Ozil, playing in the number 10 role behind Aubameyang and Lacazette. And he had a great game, I thought. Didn't do anything overly beautiful on the eye, but he did play some key passes. But what I really admired was his work rate. And I think Unai Emery certainly did acknowledge that, giving him a big high five when he went off the pitch. So great to see it from Mesut Ozil, and great to see that he can also play in these big games. Would it have been a different story had Mkhitaryan been available? I'm not sure where he was today, but I don't know if he had been. Maybe he'd have played in that position ahead of Mesut Ozil, but Ozil's certainly given the manager something to think about, and he played very, very well for the time that he was on the pitch today. Lacazette, this season has been our best player, and I think this performance highlighted that. I think he was brilliant. His hold-up play was fantastic. He's sort of like a crossbreed between Thierry Henry and Olivier Giroud. He's just fantastic. His hold-up play is... Those two players, if he was a few inches shorter, mind. His hold-up play is fantastic. His finishing is exquisite. If he could just add a few more goals to his game, he'd be such a great player. I mean, he's already a fantastic player, but I feel like today was the exact type of performance where he deserved a goal. He certainly earned a goal, the way he brought other players into the game. Unfortunate not to score, but he's just looking like he's looking more and more like a world-class player. And I know a lot that term isn't really thrown around a lot, and he'll obviously be judged on his goals as a striker, but his ability to hold the ball up, to bring other players into the game, to make this Arsenal team tick. And I think he's brilliant for what Unai Emery wants to do as well. I think he is developing into what will next season be a world-class player. If he can add another 5 to 10 goals to his game, should be no doubts about that. And Aubameyang as well, of course, having the confidence to take the penalty was great. And his performance today was perfect. Couldn't really have asked for more from him. Made some great runs going forward, worked tirelessly for the team. And it's this work ethic that we need to see week in, week out. We can't be too lazy or arrogant or overconfident going into these games against the likes of Wolves, Watford, because no, they're not top 6 sides. They're not massive games, but every game is a cup final now until the end of the season. And if we do our job, if we win these games, then because everyone else around us is playing each other, we'll finish in the top 4, maybe even in the top 3. So we just got to do our job now. That's the tough part. That is the real tough part. But focusing on today's game, just getting back to the goals first of all. Granit Xhaka found himself in a bit of space, had the confidence to take the shot on. I was thinking in the back of my mind, please don't shoot, because it's just going to go into row Z. But fortunately, it was an okay effort. I mean, it wasn't a brilliant effort on goal. I think what we've benefited from here massively is the wind. It was incredibly gale force winds at the Emirates today. I think that's what's really taken De Gea off guard, and it's fortunately the power from the shot and the wind has taken it into the back of the net to make it 1-0. Credit to Xhaka. He deserved a goal today because his performance in the midfield was so commanding. So really pleased for him. Could have had another one as well. He had a great chance in the second half, and that was a move that deserved a goal. We had some great moves today, brilliant pieces of skill from some individuals, but unfortunately it wasn't to be. The ending to that first half was a little bit nerve-wracking. I would have hoped that we'd have scored another goal to really made things a bit easier for ourselves going into half-time, but Lukaku hit the post, Fred hit the post, but they weren't overly dominant in midfield. They certainly weren't controlling the game. We just sort of allowed them to have chances, as we typically do, but fortunately we kept a clean sheet and we made it to half-time. And then going out into the second half, we certainly grew into the game that bit more, and we looked confident and we looked like we were edging towards another goal. But United, I mean, they were still obviously very dangerous as well, but we seemed to revert into playing a counter-attacking style of football, allowing United to have the ball for large spells of possession at times, which I think worked very well for us because they weren't overly creative. They weren't doing a lot with it. They really missed someone like a Juan Mata in this game to open up the space for them. They didn't have that, fortunately for us. They introduced Martial, who did nothing. and we were fortunate to get a penalty. I mean, from where I was sitting, it looked like a penalty, but of course, where everything's happening so quickly, especially in real time, you can't tell. But from what I've read on Twitter and such, Lacazette did go down easily. To be honest, it's one of those ones where if it goes for you, you're elated. If it goes against you, you're furious. But this is football, and it's a part of the game now, sadly, as much as I wish it wasn't. But if there's contacts, then every player is going to take advantage and they're going to go down. And obviously, in this instance, Lacazette felt contacts, and that's why he's gone to ground. And Aubameyang has had the audacity and the confidence to step up for the penalty. And very calm, very cool. Not the most confident penalty, but straight down the middle of the goal past David De Gea, who fortunately couldn't get a toe to it, and made it 2-0. And we saw the introduction of Denis Suarez, who made a brilliant run when he came on, and I think he's slowly looking that little bit sharper. I think a lot of people are actually forgetting that we've got this guy at the club, myself included. I do forget at times that, you know, we've had him for about 2 months now, and we've not really done anything with him, and there's 2 months left of the season. How much football are we going to see him play, and how vital is he going to be to this run? And I do think he's a player that I would like to see start a game. I'm not sure if the game against Rennes is the best opportunity for him, but he is a player that certainly is looking a bit more sharper as each game goes by. I remember he came on against Huddersfield and he looked good in that game. So I'd like to see him get a start. I'd like to see him at least get 60 odd minutes, because I do think he's a player that we brought in for a reason, and Emery obviously rates him, otherwise why would he have brought him in? But you know, it's certainly exciting, and we saw Iwobi come on as well, and he held up the ball, thought he worked very hard, and we saw Nketiah come on, which I wasn't surprised. I was surprised about. I mean, I looked at the bench and I just thought, oh, he's just a player on there to kind of fill the numbers, but he actually came on, and I think that's great for him in terms of morale, in terms of confidence, to make him feel like he's a big part of this team. And I do think he's a player that's certainly one for the future, no matter how limited his game time has been. I'd just like to see him get a bit more game time. I think a loan spell is probably the best thing we can do with him next season, but he's certainly a player I'd like to see get more opportunities. But it was great to see him get 10 minutes today, and I thought he worked tirelessly for the time he was on the pitch. You can just tell how much he wants to score, the way he chases every single loose ball down, but he worked hard. Certainly gave those United centre-halves a problem when he came on, and he seems to be getting a little bit bigger, he seems to be getting taller as each week goes by, so he's certainly one that I'm excited to keep an eye on. And I'm just overall delighted that we finished the game with 3 academy products on the pitch in Maitland-Niles, Alex Iwobi and Eddie Nketiah. It really does show that we are forming some great youth talents at the club. So I'm feeling really good about things today, and obviously we've got a little bit of a break now after Rennes on Thursday, but in terms of the league, we've got a little brief period where the FA Cup's next weekend, and then there's the international break, so we can have a breather and then we go again. But it's massive now at this end of the season. As I've said, the teams around us have to play each other. They're going to drop points, and we have to capitalise. But we have to do our job in a professional manner and play to the level that we did today. But really pleased to see Ramsey perform so well, even though we know he's on his way out. So pleased to see us perform without Mkhitaryan, without Torreira, without Holding, without Bellerin, without Danny Welbeck, with a lot of first team players out. And we're still capable of putting in this level of performance. So yeah, we've got every reason to be cheerful, and let's look forward to that game on Thursday, and I'm completely believing that we can win that game by 2-0. I don't think I'd change a thing about the team that played today. It was perfect. Anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. Please do drop a like on the video if you have enjoyed it. Subscribe to AFC Game by Game if you're new. And as always, I'll speak to you very, very soon. See you later, guys.